Hey, how's it going? So this is Greg with Microsoft Hates Greg, Hearts Greg, however you want to do it. Anyway, so today I got a sneak peek for what's coming to the free versions of MSHGQM, Metadata Mechanic, and Power Sort. So I just completed the latest Enterprise DNA release. It's in testing right now. I knocked out a bunch of features on the backlog that I had targeted for the next release. And so I'm going to show you those tools so that you can see some of the tools that are some of the features that you're going to be they'll be coming to the free versions of the tools. Okay, hopefully that all makes sense. Okay, so let's get started. Let's first take a look at probably the one that had the least amount of changes, which was Power Sort. So you notice immediately if you're used to the old Power Sort, you have a, just like in Metadata Mechanic, you have a drop down that lists all, or you can pick certain tables. And this cosmetic change right here. So if I do this, you can also see that I've got some color variation to help you distinguish which row you're in. Bolded the labels. If you pick let's pick the dates table, and we say and update our metadata. So now only the dates tables are shown. So only those will be set. So just wanted to show you that. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Oh, one other change you cannot see but is important is that now these controls, they used to be named by the table name and that sort of thing, but now they're actually, as you can see, as in the tooltip, they're actually named, they're numbered essentially. So that is going to help quite a bit with international users that may have some weird wonky characters that Windows controls don't like to accept or something like that. Wasn't quite sure, but I wanted to make sure that because in table names you can have some different characters in that, but in Windows controls you can't have things like spaces and other things. And I was doing some magic behind the scenes to replace like spaces with underscores and things like that, but didn't think that was a good long-term solution. So that is Power Sort, the major things that have been changed there. So let's close that one. Next, I'm going to show you Quick Measures Pro. So Quick Measures Pro, initially, it doesn't look like anything has changed, and that's because the majority of the work has been done, if you go to here, has been done in this. So in this area, the source, the DAX source area. So as you can see now, we have color highlighting. We have pop-ups. So tooltips for how to use the different functions are available now. I'm going to be doing some additional work with this. This is again Telerik syntax editor control. So this won't be coming to the free version anytime soon, but again, I want to add things like the ability to have your type ahead, things like that will be coming. It also works with raw version. So if I get the raw version of this, then it also has tooltips for how to use the actual placeholders and that sort of thing that we use in DAX to replace these things and kind of write our custom measure definitions. So it has that as well. Let's see, and now so some other things that have changed. If you notice over here, let's just pick something a little bit smaller. Here we go. So I've got some extra metadata fields here. So the primary one being the description field. You can also set whether it's hidden or not as well. And you always had format in the folder and your data category. You'll see I had to move with adding some additional fields down here. I moved what type you're creating, so up to there. So if I'm here and I generate my DAX, now I'm creating a column versus a measure. So I think that was a little more intuitive because right next to the create button, you can say, oh yes, I'm creating a column or I'm creating a measure. If there is no description that is present in the measure, it actually grabs the notes field and auto-populates the description for you. So that when you create this in your model, you'll have the description will be what the notes area says. But you can always replace that and put your own custom description in, of course. So easy peasy. So that is see what file I got on my other screen. I've got what all has actually changed. I did fix a few things kind of behind the scenes. This custom measure demo actually, like the DAX code was not correct. So I actually fixed that. And I also added to the SVG, I added, let's make sure that they're here, DAX. So I added that they all automatically populate to image URL as far as the data category. So that's that. All right, let's see. It's moving on. Now here's the one that probably had the most amount of changes, I would say, and that is Metadata Mechanic. So Metadata Mechanic now, you can immediately see that I've added customization of your thousands, percentage, and your decimals, so that in different cultures, they don't use the American English commas and things like that. They use different characters for that sort of thing. So now it supports that. Added a lot of tooltips. So here's an important one. So when you hover over the all date times, I got a message from Brian Julius. He's like, hey, it was changing my date time columns, but it also changed my time columns. Well, the reason is, if you read the tooltip, all date time, and time columns are really just stored as date time. There's only one data type for dates and times. So when you are setting a date column or a date time column, date/time or the time, it's really just the formatting. Okay, and that's a UI thing that's going on. Now I'm going to see if I can try to support that. It's probably stored as an annotation or something along those lines that allows the Power BI desktop to recognize it as, oh, this is a date column or a date/time column or a time column, even though internally it's just a date time column. And so I will see what I can do about that. Maybe in the next release. But I added a lot of different tooltips for everything, so that as you navigate around and have any questions about things, you can get your tooltips and they populate and you know what's going on within the interface. Okay, so now when you actually get the metadata, and this is, and I'm still trying to figure out these controls are being populated. My code is done working, and I changed the cursor to a weight icon, while the code is executing. But this population of these controls is happening. I got to figure out a way to trap it, but you'll notice obviously a lot's changed here. So I've got you've got the bold headers and the row differentiation going on. You got the bold labels going on. You've got a bigger description field, so you can fit up to two rows of data before it starts scrolling down. Data category now is actually a drop-down list. So this is actually the data categories for tables that you can set if you want to in your model. The hidden is now checkboxes, which makes it really nice now. Vertical tabbing, you can hide it and then tab to the next one, hit the space bar, and so that's really nice. You have down here, we have our columns. Obviously, that's changed quite a bit as well. Again, wanted to make this description field longer, changed the true/false metadata into checkboxes. Now you don't have a data category here because this is a date time field, so this is disabled. Your unique is disabled, but you will show whether unique or not. All of these combo boxes, right? So for the data types, binary, Boolean, so you just not just a simple text box where you can just type anything and maybe cause yourself problems. Summarize by, those are all set. Your default alignments. And so same thing for data category. So this is an int64, which is your whole number. So I got those in the tooltips as well. Whole number columns and measures are stored internally as int64. And maybe I'll, change those around eventually, where this will, be more along the lines of the Power BI desktop interface, where it's kind of lying to you about what it really is. It's saying it's a whole number, but it's really an int64. But here you have your string int64. Your double, again, I can't say this enough. Your double shows up in Power BI desktop as a decimal, but it's actually stored internally as a double. And then your decimal is your currency, your fixed decimal numbers. Okay, so can't say that enough because I know there can be confusion around that. So just wanted to address that, and obviously it's the same thing if we go down to our measures. We've got a bigger description field. We've got our true false, checkbox hidden data categories. The home tables now is a drop down of all the list of tables that are in your data model. You just can't type anything random in there. And of course, everything still works, right? So if I want to, let's say, set my aggregation for my whole numbers to maximum, and I update the metadata, and once it repopulates here, then it didn't work. Great. Oh, I got to actually check the box. Check the box, Greg. So I got to set my aggregation. I got to set that to maximum. Wow, man. Whew, I thought I had a major bug there. Well, we'll find out. You guys, this is why I like giving you guys early access to as much information as possible. Okay, let's see here. Boolean in 64 maximum. Yes, that worked. Maximum. So yes, it still works. I didn't break anything. Yay. So that's kind of, let me see if I missed anything. Change can, oh, also the controls here are also, the tooltips aren't enabled for this, but these controls have also been redone so that they use an ID versus the table name or the measure name or anything like that. And I fixed a few kind of bugs that were in there that really not really important. But yeah, that's it. There's your sneak peek. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. Comment on the video. Let me know what features that you really want to see in the free versions. I'll see if I can get them in there. Tell me what your top, the coolest feature you saw in this video. So let me know. But that's all for today. And everyone have a good night.